Do you want to know what one of the top 2 causes of relationship difficulties is? I'm Reverend Dr. Brent Hawkes. I'm the founder and executive director of Rainbow Faith and Freedom.
And I'm John Sproul. The answer to that question is disagreements about money.
So here's how John and I have dealt with finances. Now, we acknowledge that our position is a position of privilege. We're 2 white men who've had reasonably well-paying jobs, supportive families, etc. So our suggestions and our situations does not fit for everyone. And obviously, when we first met, we had our own apartments and our own bank accounts, and everything was separate. Then we moved in together and we developed a joint account to begin to cover some of the joint expenses.
We maintained separate accounts as well and paid into the joint account equally. That was a problem because Brent was making a lot less than I was at that time. And making equal payments used up everything that Brent had, so he had no disposable income whatsoever.
So we learned about proportional contributions. So we worked out the percentage. We took his salary and my salary, combined them together, got one figure, and then figured out what percentage of that John was earning and what percent I was earning, and those percentages helped us to determine what we would contribute to the joint. So for instance, John's salary plus my salary, let's take a rounded figure, equals $100,000. He was making 60, I was making 40. He would pay 60% of the costs of the joint account, and I would pay 40% of the costs. So then we would develop a budget and decide what things were going to be paid out of the account, things initially like food and rent and entertainment, going to movies, dinner outs, and gifts. Combine all that, pay the percentages to cover the bills.
Eventually, we got a joint credit card. So a lot of these expenses were paid with the joint credit card, and the card was paid for out of the joint account. Annually, we would revisit our joint account contributions based on how our incomes had changed. We began to expand what was covered by the joint account, such as household purchases, vacations, vet bills, and medications. It's been a process of joint finances growing as our finances became intertwined.
This always meant that it felt like it was fair to us. Whoever earned more, paid more. This is a common evolution for LGBT couples. It may also be the case for heterosexual couples, but that's not my specialty. So this has always felt fair and has never really caused any financial arguments. Other couples get tripped up because of things like not living within their means, which has meant more financial pressures and more difficulties. A way to deal with that is the importance of budgeting. For example, if you can't afford to spend $300 or $400 a month on eating out, then you don't. Many people spend without even thinking.
This leads us to how you can get out of debt. Obviously, a budget is crucial, and there are some good debt counseling services that can help you with a plan to consolidate your debts, to lower your interest payments, and it's a win-win situation for you and for the companies to which you owe money, as it avoids you going into bankruptcy, in which case they would only get a fraction of what is owed to them. It also reduces your interest payments into a much lower interest vehicle and can make your life simpler with one consolidated monthly payment, but it's important to talk it through with a debt consolidation service who can negotiate for you and get collectors off of your back.
Many marginalized people deal with marginalization by having to spend more or choosing to spend more. It's always been a joke to say, when the going gets tough, gay men go shopping. And for others, when money is tight, then debt becomes the only option. But the process of getting out of debt and saving interest can eventually multiply your abundance. So once again, you can make a short-term sacrifice and you then have more money for things that you really, really want. Whereas for some people, to get out of debt, they have to either give up their credit cards or take a pot of water and put it in the freezer and freeze the card in there to make it more difficult. Now, for me, frozen pizza has always been an option, so I would worry that frozen credit cards might also be an option.
It's too easy to get into financial problems, especially with the commercialization of our society and with fluctuating interest rates. And when things like COVID hit and people lose their jobs, or are between jobs. So a wise thing to do is to develop your own savings or rainy day fund by paying yourself first. What does paying yourself first mean? Does it mean taking yourself out to a movie? No. It means taking the first 10% out of your paycheck and putting it directly into savings or your rainy day fund and keeping it there as your investment in your future, in your retirement. If you're not able to immediately start saving 10% off the top of your paycheck, then you might think about cutting back your lifestyle in order to save that 10%, about finding ways of earning some more money so that you do have 10% of your income to save, or of starting out with a smaller percentage. All of these if you can.
Times are tough right now with the pandemic, and it may not be feasible for you to pay yourself 10%, but start with a smaller amount and build towards that. You can do the same thing when it comes to giving back to others through charities. Start with a smaller amount and grow that as well.
Taking control of your finances will help you with both your personal health and well-being and your relationship, as it will prevent conflict and arguments. If you're looking for help, see this link. It's a good place to start, and it has references to many reputable credit counseling services in different provinces. If you found this video helpful, please share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe. If you click on the little bell button beside the subscribe button, then you'll get a notice whenever we post a new video.
Thank you.
Thank you.